Welcome to Safe Money Strategies with Susan Moore Vault, president of Moore Financial Strategies. Susan specializes in working with those over the age of 50 and is now in her 20th year as a financial services professional in Tucson. None of Susan's clients has ever lost a dime in this market. Susan is an Air Force veteran, a former detective, a mother, and a grandmother. Susan's mantra is get educated about your options so you can make informed decisions. And now, here's your host, Susan Moore Vault.
Protecting all you have. More financial strategies.
Good morning, Tucson. This is Susan Moore Vault, and I want to thank you for spending this time with me this early Saturday morning on Memorial Day weekend. I'm president and owner of Moore Financial Strategies, and usually I spend this time talking to you about financial strategies and interesting articles that I've read in the Wall Street Journal or the newspaper or Yahoo, whatever. But I think today is special, and I would like to take this time to talk to you about what Memorial Day is all about and to spend some time remembering. It's so important what our country is all about and the people that fought and died and that have served and that serve now. Let me first say thank you to everybody that has served, and I want to do a special shout out to the troops that are on active duty. I know I have listeners listening by computer, online, all over the world on active duty. Thank you, guys and gals. Thank you so much for what you're doing. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening to this humble little show. Please drop me a line. I'd like to stay in touch with you. Email me, susan@moorefs.com. That's susan@moore, MOORE, F as in financial, S as in strategies.com. I'd like to thank you personally, and I'd love to stay in touch with you. It's so important to remember, folks, and let's talk about what Memorial Day is all about. I took some information from Wikipedia, and of course, Memorial Day is the last Monday in May, celebrated each year, and this year, of course, it's this coming Monday, May 28th. What is it about? It's remembrance of American war dead. It's a federal holiday observed annually in the United States on the last Monday of May. Originally, it was known as Decoration Day, and it originated after the Civil War to commemorate the fallen Union soldiers of that war. Southern ladies, organizations, and Southern school children had decorated Confederate graves in Richmond and other cities during the Civil War, but each region had its own date. Most dates were in May. By the 20th century, Memorial Day had been extended to honor all Americans who have died in all wars. Memorial Day is a day of remembering the men and women who died while serving the United States Armed Forces. As a marker, it typically marks the start of summer vacation season, while Labor Day marks its end. By the early 20th century, Memorial Day was an occasion for more general expressions of memory as people visited the graves of their deceased relatives in church cemeteries, whether they had served in the military or not. It also became a long weekend increasingly devoted to shopping, family gatherings, fireworks, trips to the beach, and national media events such as the Indianapolis 500 auto race, held since 1911 on the Sunday of the Memorial Day weekend. Annual decoration days for particular cemeteries are held on Sunday in late spring or early summer in some rural areas of the American South, notably in the mountains. In cases involving a family graveyard where remote ancestors as well as those who were deceased more recently are buried, they may take on the character of an extended family reunion, to which some people renew contacts with kinfolks and others. There's often religious services and a dinner on the ground, the traditional term for a potluck meal, in which people used to spread their dishes out on sheets or tablecloths on the grass. It is believed that this practice began before the American Civil War and thus may reflect the real origin of Memorial Day. On the history, it says that the sheer number of dead soldiers, both Union and Confederate, meant that burial and memorialization would become important following the war. People in towns, particularly women, had buried the dead and decorated graves during the war. In 1865, the federal government began a program creating national cemeteries for the Union dead. Following President Abraham Lincoln's assassination in April 1865, there were a variety of events of commemoration. The first known observance of a Memorial Day type observance was in Charleston, South Carolina on May 1st, 1865. During the war, Union soldiers who were prisoners of war had been held at the Charleston race course. At least 257 Union prisoners died and were hastily buried in unmarked graves. Freedmen, which were the freed slaves, knew of the Union dead and decided to honor them. Together with teachers and missionaries, blacks in Charleston organized a May Day ceremony covered by the New York Tribune and other national papers. It became the first decoration day in the North. Beforehand, the freedmen had cleaned up and landscaped the burial ground, building an enclosure and an arch labeled, quote, Martyrs of the Racecourse, end quote. Nearly 10,000 people, mostly freed men, gathered on May 1st to commemorate the dead. Involved were 3,000 school children newly enrolled in freed men's schools, mutual aid societies, Union troops, black ministers, and white Northern missionaries. Most brought flowers to lay on the burial field. Today, the site is used as Hampton Park. The historian David Blight described the day. This was the first Memorial Day. African Americans invented Memorial Day in Charleston, South Carolina. What you have there is black Americans recently freed from slavery, announcing to the world with their flowers, their feet, and their songs what the war had been about. What they basically were creating was the Independence Day of a second American Revolution, end quote. The Memorial Day speech became an occasion for veterans, politicians, and ministers to commemorate the war, and at first to rehash the atrocities of the enemy. They mixed religion and celebratory nationalism and provided a means for the people to make sense of history in terms of a sacrifice for a better nation. People of all religions, beliefs joined together, and the point was often made that the German and Irish soldiers had become true Americans in the baptism of blood on the battlefield. By the end of the 1870s, much of the rancor was gone, and the speeches praised the brave soldiers, both blue and gray. By the 1950s, the theme was the American exceptionalism and duty to uphold freedom in the world. Folks, I'm going to continue this after a quick break. Please don't go away. This is a special program. We'll be right back.
More financial strategies.
Thanks for listening to Safe Money Strategies with Susan Moore Vault. Now, do you have money sitting in CDs or a money market and it's doing nothing? You can put it to work while still having access to 100% of your funds. And you can increase your income by $3,000 to $6,000 a month if you should need long-term care assistance while making no financial commitment. For a free report, call 520-296-4464. Now, you must be in average to good health to qualify. For this free report, call 520-296-4464. That's 520-296-4464. Call Susan Moore Vault today.
Hi, it's Glenn Beck for Susan Moore Vault of More Financial Strategies. I've been urging you to see Susan for your retirement planning for about 3 years now, and the way I see it, you could make a mistake with your retirement, either a small one or a big one. But if you move your money to one of Susan's strategies now and the market goes up a little afterwards, you lose some of the gain. That could be a small mistake. But on the other hand, if you stay in the market and it takes a huge dive of 30 or 50% or more, that would be a huge mistake. I don't know. I like to limit my downside. I'm not a gambling man, especially when it comes to my future or my family's future. Which mistake would you rather make? Possibly lose a small gain or risk losing up to half of your savings? Don't delay. Call Susan now. The number is 296-4464. She makes positive differences in your life and your savings. The number is 296-4464. Call her now.
Let's face it, 401ks are now 201ks, and IRA stands for I'm really angry. Our clients that made 10 to 20% 2 years ago still have it. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. You already trust the insurance industry to protect your home, your car, your life, even your loved ones. Why not rely on them to protect your retirement accounts too? Call Susan now at 520-296-4464. That's 520-296-4464. If Susan is unable to answer the phone or if she's on the other line, please leave your name and number and she'll call you back promptly. That number again for Susan Moore Vault is 520-296-4464.
More financial strategies.
Welcome back, folks, to this very special segment of Safe Money Strategies. I want to focus today on Memorial Day and what it means and the men and women that sacrifice so much for our country. I was reading from Wikipedia, and I'll continue just briefly, regarding the name and date. The preferred name for the holiday gradually changed from Decoration Day to Memorial Day, which was first used in 1882. It did not become common until after World War II and was not declared the official name by federal law until 1967. On June 28, 1968, the Congress passed the Uniform Holidays Bill, which moved 4 holidays, including Memorial Day, from their traditional dates to a specified Monday in order to create a convenient 3-day weekend. The change moved Memorial Day from its traditional May 30th day to the last Monday in May. The law took effect at the federal level in 1971. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, and Sons of the Union Veterans of the Civil War advocate returning to the original date. Although the significance of the date is tenuous, the VFW stated in 2002 that changing the date merely to create a 3-day weekend has undermined the very meaning of the day. No doubt this has contributed to a lot of the general public's nonchalant observance of the day. Since 1987, Hawaii Senator Daniel Inouye, a World War II veteran, has introduced a measure to return Memorial Day to its traditional date. After some initial confusion and unwillingness to comply, all 50 states adopted Congress's change of date within a few years. Memorial Day endures as a holiday, which most businesses observe because it marks the unofficial beginning of summer. The traditional observance. Many people observe Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries and memorials. A national monument of remembrance takes place at 3 p.m. local time. Another tradition is to fly the flag of the United States at half-staff from dawn until noon local time. Volunteers often place American flags on each gravesite at national cemeteries. For many Americans, the central event is attending one of thousands of parades held on Memorial Day in large and small cities all over the country. Most of these feature marching bands and an overall military theme, with the National Guard and other servicemen participating, along with veterans and military vehicles from various wars. One of the longest-standing traditions is the running of the Indianapolis 500 auto race in conjunction with Memorial Day. Because Memorial Day is generally associated with the start of the summer season, it's a common tradition to inaugurate outdoor cooking season with a great barbecue. The National Memorial Day Concert takes place on the lawn of the U.S. Capitol. At any rate, that's the article, folks, that's in Wikipedia. I want us to remember what it's about, and, if you have children or grandchildren that are just looking forward to going shopping or having a picnic or a gathering, please remind them what it's about and maybe take a moment to pause and thank those that have served. And again, I want to shout out to those now that have served and thank them for those that are on active duty now, for their families that have to be apart, and spouses that have to raise children by themselves while their spouses are serving their country. And those stay-at-home spouses are serving their country as well. For those that have come home with serious injuries and life-changing injuries, God bless you. And I pray that God will continue to bless you and